Uh, okay, this is a funny one here. Living single star Kim Coles says producers told her to lose weight or they would start writing in fat jokes about her on the show. Kim Coles, who many remember as Sinclair James on the classic 90s sitcom Living Single, has spoken out about the body shaming she endured on set. She revealed that producers once pressured her to slim down, warning that if she didn't, they start turning her weight into a running joke. In an old interview that's resurfacing across social media, Coles recalled the blunt conversation. The producers came to me and said, "We want you to lose weight. If you don't, we'll add fat jokes into the script." The remarks deeply affected her self esteem, leaving her questioning her value and feeling like she had to prove she belonged. Still, Coles refused to let that break her. Looking back, she's proud of how she handled it. "I'm proud of the work I did. I brought my whole self to that character," she said in a separate interview. Let's look at the comments. She wasn't even big. I mean, back then in the 90s, she was like a because I remember Living Single, but her character was kind of like she was thick. That was in thick today and thick in the 90s was totally different. You know? Um like Queen Latifah back in the 90s, the way she looked, she would be considered like thick today. It was different back then, you know. But back then, her character was fat. That was back then that was overweight, you know. Cuz if you compare the obesity crisis to today and back in the 90s, it's a vast difference. It doesn't even compare, you know. What was considered fat back then today is considered just thick, you know. But as far as this article goes, man, that is hilarious, man. I can imagine a producer saying, "Yay, if you don't lose weight, we're gonna add in some fat jokes." That is crazy. I've never heard that before in my life. But I'll say this though. Um, that was actually very that was needed. I think that was very needed. Um, because look, man, you can't always get to people a certain way. Like I can tell people all the time, "Hey, look, you need to lose some weight." Anybody can say that. But will most people do it? The answer is probably not. So you have to really give incentives for them to change. You have to really kind of even bully them in a way to change. Hey, listen, if you don't start working out, we're gonna start writing in these fat jokes. So you choose what you want to do. And she still didn't do it. You know? Some people, man, I think some people are just it's crazy how some people are so stuck in their ways, man. And this is what happens when you really have an ego, right? Because yes, from the outside looking in, it might have looked bad on the producer's part for saying, "Hey, we're gonna write in these fat jokes if you don't lose some weight." It might have looked bad on that sense. But if you're looking at it from a logical standpoint, they were actually trying to help her at like they were actually trying to help her, right? They were trying to help her. Like they were trying to help her improve. But her ego was in the way so much. She thought that they was just trying to like be cruel to her and make fun of her and pick on her. Nah, bro, like we're running a show here. We want every actor on set. We want every actor on our program to look their best. You and Queen Latifah were the only bitches that were out of shape in the 90s from what, from how they viewed out of shape in the 90s. They were out of shape. But it's like if I'm running a production, whether that be a movies, whether that be TV shows, whatever, man, I want all my actors to look the best. I want them all to be in shape. I'm going to do everything I can to make sure everybody is in shape, whether we got to hire trainers on set to train these motherfuckers, or, we have to, when the food come out, it's only healthy food. Like, you have to do stuff to make sure your talent looks up to standard, man. You want people to turn on TV and be like, oh man, I like this character. She looked good. Or I like this character. He looks good. Y'all don't know, man. Being in shape is going to make you more money. I had a client. I'm not going to say who it is, but this is my brother. I had a client. I'm not going to say who it is. Dear friend of mine. During the pandemic, right? We're in LA. We're working out. He's an actor as well. When I first saw him, he was out of shape. He wasn't in the best shape. But we all started working out together. I started training him. We were working out about 5 days a week. That man lost about, I want to say 30 something pounds in like 8 weeks. Just about. After that, guess what? He landed the biggest show of his career. I'm not going to say who it is, but he landed the biggest show of his career. Just because he saw something that he needed to change and he knew was holding him back. He got real with himself. He didn't blame anybody. He didn't feel like anybody was forcing him to lose weight. This is something that he decided on his own. He said, I need to improve. And he put the work in. He actually put the work in. He actually put the work in and improved and lost the weight. Looked like a whole different person. And then boom, next thing you know, he lands the biggest show of his career. That's not by accident, man. It's not by accident. But some people are so stuck in their ways that even when people are trying to help them, they see it as, oh, they're making fun of me. Oh, they're picking on me. They just want what's best for you, man. I want what's best for everybody that I train. Everybody that I train, I want what's best for them. Whether that be you landing a movie role, a show, getting a new job, whatever the case is, man. But I do know the power of fitness. I do know what it can do for you. I do know that you being disciplined and changing your habits will put you in a whole different mindset, which will lead to different opportunities that can change your life. But most people, they don't see it that far. They just see that right now, okay, he just thinks I need to lose weight. I had somebody that got on me. It was a potential client that I was going to train. This is months ago. So I'm just going through her history. We're checking her body fat on the body fat scan, and her numbers were crazy. Like, she was like 30-40% body fat. She had little to no muscle. She was like 5 foot something, 5'2", 30-40 pounds overweight. And I'm telling her, I'm like, listen, like, this is definitely an issue. We need to address this like now. We have to kind of act now on this before it gets any worse. And this dumbass bitch was like, well, I didn't come here to be attacked about my weight. I'm like, attacked? Like, ma'am, I'm just simply pointing out the facts here. I'm not gonna lie to you. She said, well, you're an asshole and I'm leaving. I'm like, whoa. Hey, go right ahead. Because this won't be a good fit any fucking way. You're a loser. You have a loser mentality. So this is not going to be a good fit anyway. So you can go ahead, walk your dumpy ass up out of here. Walk your dumpy ass up out of here. This is not going to be a good fit. Me and you are not going to work. So I don't train losers. I don't train people that have a loser mentality. You know what I'm saying? Folks that think they know it all, that have all the answers. I don't train people like that, man. I'll go into a whole different profession. I'll go to a whole different industry before I have to have a roster full of losers, a roster full of people that have a victim mindset, that think everybody's out to get them. What do I gain from calling you out? What do I gain from that? I don't gain nothing. You think I enjoy telling somebody that they're 30 something percent body fat? You think I enjoy telling women this that have this? This is not an easy thing to say. Now I'm gonna say because I have to say it because I'm trying to help you, but it's not the easiest thing to say, right? You have to frame it a certain way. You know, you don't know this person, so you don't know how sensitive they're gonna be. You don't know how if they're gonna blow up like she did, right? So you have to really be careful with certain like there's just certain people that are just sensitive, man. They're just sensitive. They're overly sensitive. And I'm not trying to tiptoe around things, bro. I'm a very direct person. I'm very blunt, right? I'm not trying to make fun of you or I'm not trying to put you down or make you feel bad about yourself. I will never do that, but I have to tell the truth. I have to tell you about yourself. I have to point out what's in front of us and how we can fix it, right? But if your ego is so big, if you think that everybody's out to get you, it's never going to work. And it didn't work for her, obviously. And it didn't work for this woman. It didn't work for her either. Because guess what? We haven't seen her in a show since. We haven't seen her do anything since then. At least I haven't. They told her to lose some weight. Don't you think that by her losing weight would have landed her more roles? Guys, I've worked in Hollywood the last, I'll say, I'll say 8 years. I've worked in Hollywood the last 8 years. I've been in Hollywood. I've trained actors. I've trained celebrities. I've trained athletes. I've trained executives. Bro, they're all in there for a reason. They're training for the look. Hollywood is about the look. It's not always about talent. If I put this person on a screen, how are they going to get, how are people going to react to them? If they're going to be the main character, how are people going to react to them? Right? So they were trying to save her career. If you look at it from that standpoint, they were trying to help her out. But hey, man, some people are always going to be in their way. They're always going to be in their way. It doesn't matter who it is. It doesn't matter how much information you give them. It doesn't matter how much game you give them. It doesn't matter, the right direction you try to point them in. Some people are always going to be in their way because their egos are so big. They think they know it all. They have a victim mentality. And those people you have to wash your hands with, man. I don't deal with people like that. Once I sense that you have a victim mindset and a victim mentality and you don't have any plans or, you don't have any plans of changing that, I'm good. I'm out. I'm straight. I got enough issues to worry about, bro. I'm not trying to hold nobody's hand out here. I don't have time to babysit nobody, especially no grown ass adult. I don't have any time for that. So this is just another case of when thinking you know it all goes wrong. And since then, we ain't seen her do anything since. And she probably still big, as you can see on the screen. She didn't lose the weight. She didn't plan on losing the weight. You know what's crazy? I think I DM'd her a while ago. I think I might have DM'd her like years ago because I saw that she was when I was doing classes in Hollywood on Melrose. She had I think she had looked at my story one time. This is actually kind of crazy. Yeah, I think she looked at my story one day and I had DM'd her to come in. Guess what? I saw that she opened it, but guess what? No response. Left me unseen. So, hey, bro, you can always, you can lead a horse to water, but you can't make him drink it, man. it just it is what it is.